Hey, so I was just sitting here thinking, my next music event that I'm going to is in a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited. And I'm only not saying specifically because even though I'm pretty sure nobody really knows me, stalkers is a thing. So, suffice it to say, the event that I plan to go to is coming up, and I'm super excited, but I wanted to offer this as a way if somebody's trying to consider how do I get to go out and do new things. Uh, for me, I really enjoy music and I want to go to concerts. And the first thought was always, the big national artists or signed artists when they come. Those tickets is mad expensive. And so I'm not uh, excluding those as a possibility, but I'm also not going to wait to experience my joy. What I have chosen to do instead is take advantage of smaller venues, local venues that host local artists. Now, who to see? Because I don't know a lot of local artists. What I did I chose by a genre of music that I enjoy, and I also chose by instruments. So I like jazz funk, and so I recently went to a cover band for a group that plays that type of music, and it was dope. It was a dope experience. It exposed me to cover bands. It exposed me to the venue itself and other people who enjoyed the show. The others I chose by instrument. I enjoy the violin and the piano, in classical and modern interpretation. So I chose one of each to go to see those things. And that's me getting a little bit outside of my comfort zone with it's unknown because it's not new, but I found something familiar in it that would encourage me towards curiosity instead of not just fear, but even stuck in that unknown space is something that says, "Oh well, what's over there? Let me look and see what's over there." So that is it. That is my thought about that. Um, Find something familiar in the unknown. If there's nothing familiar there, take something with you, if that's the space that you're going to go, because the only way to find out is to go. Isn't that the thing, right? We get stuck where we are because of what we don't know, but the only way to know any more than we do is to proceed. So I am choosing to proceed rather than retreat, regress, or stay stuck. And I believe following these breadcrumbs, getting this sampling, these small tastes of joy for me to build on, they provide a higher floor now, right? Like I'm building on top of the ceiling, whatever my capped experience was years and years and years ago. I was blessed. In fact, almost 30 years ago, I was turning 21, near a dear friend's birthday, and her friends took her to see Anita Baker at Madison Square Garden and just happened to say, "Hey, you want to go?" And bruh, like, that was amazing. And I remember coming back and immediately going to see, I think, D'Angelo at the Tower Theater. So anybody from Philly knows that was well years ago, besides the gray hair in the top of my head. But yeah, and I never, I mean, I could see likely around that time my ex-husband and I were starting to date, and I could see where if I look back and I'm honest with myself, I could see um, 19, 20, 21-year-old Marquita really liking this man that she'd been with for a few years since she was 17, and at that point had already kind of, you know, what do you want to do? whatever it is that you like. Like that was my position back then. With the belief at some point that favor would be returned to me, and it never fucking was, bro. So don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't do that. Anyway, yeah, find something familiar, take it with you. Don't stay stuck in any state of unknown, because, at least for me, I can't say what goes on in most brains. I can say what goes on in my brain. When I find myself confronted with something I don't know that I feel like I need to, like there either is a consequence for me not knowing, or somehow I just feel entitled, like there's a emotional need for this information because I feel like something may go wrong if I don't know. Whatever the bullshit is, whatever the story is, that makes it more than just plain information. Whatever has the thumb on the scale there about what's egging this emotion on, this need for knowledge on is often emotional. And science says executive functioning doesn't happen in an anxious mind. When we're in that fight or flight, that must now thing, can't think about anything. You're identifying the problem, not the solution. So, as much as I might in the moment want to feel a way about what I don't know, it benefits me to fuck them feelings so that I can get past it and know what I want to know. And do you know what irks me beyond anything? Like I just articulated 1, 2, 3. This is what I need to do. Having that knowledge doesn't necessarily make navigating that terrain easier, because I'm fighting against a lot of other things. Like it's not just due to math. There's other things going on. There's old scripts and things going on impeding me going through that maze. There's external circumstances that are happening in real time that's hindering the travel through that maze. It could be whatever emotions lie between here and there that I don't want to deal with that's hindering me from getting there. And I think that part where I go from I just don't understand to totally aha without knowing how I got the aha, bro, that's God. And that's the shit that keeps me humble. Like regardless of how smart and wise I feel for figuring out certain things within myself, the fact that ultimately I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. I put 3 plus 2 equals 4.98, and somehow 5 was really there. Like I missed something. I don't know. Sometimes it works, but sometimes when it don't, when I just have to wake up, when I finally agree, you know what I mean? I done wrestled with it long enough. Fuck it. I released the need to know. I don't need to know. In fact, I don't even want fucking no more. I don't want to know. I'm moving on. I'm putting it behind me. And then, and not only the answer most times, but also why it was better for me to not know. Why it was, and that, it was better for me to not know. So yeah, sometimes it's like you see, it's almost like if you imagine riding in a car and you see the hill coming or whatever, or even if you're walking, especially walking would be the better analogy, because you're walking and you see a steep hill coming and you know there's a downside on the other side. Even you can probably tell if it's doing this, right? But the experience of doing it is not the same. By the time you're on that second or third incline, it don't matter that you fucking knew it was 3 or 4 before you got there. You're in it now, and the reality of what you've been doing and are doing and still yet need to do is ever present and more real, right? But it's in that moment, it's like, and for me, sometimes it's a matter of we're here now, we've come this far. At this point, I'm closer. I may as well keep going because it would be more difficult to go back. Now, those ain't the wins that I like, but I count them anyhow. And what I do is when I get to the other side of it, I look back. Where could I have used more support? Where could I have been more supportive to myself and fair in that journey of revelation or emotion or whatever the fuck I was talking about when I started talking? All right. I thought that was going to be quick. I talked longer than I thought.